Most people go through life believing they are in control. But if you look closely, the reality is very different. Day after day, they wake up, follow the same routine, make the same decisions, and repeat the same patterns. Years pass, yet their lives remain almost exactly the same. They dream about success, happiness, financial freedom, and purpose, but they rarely take the actions that would actually create those results. The truth is that taking control of your life is not about luck, talent, or even intelligence. It's about awareness and the courage to break the invisible chains that hold you back. The problem is that these chains are not physical. They exist inside the mind. They are beliefs, fears, habits, and emotional patterns that quietly shape every decision you make. Most people are not even aware of them. They assume their circumstances are the problem. Lack of money, lack of opportunities, lack of support. But in reality, the greatest barriers are internal. Until you identify them, they will continue controlling your life. Think about it for a moment. Why do some people rise from nothing and build extraordinary lives, while others with the same resources stay stuck for decades? The difference is not circumstances, it's mindset. The people who take control learn to challenge the patterns that keep others trapped. They refuse to accept limitations that society, family, or their own past has placed on them. In this video, we are going to explore 5 powerful forces that quietly control the lives of 99% of people. These forces are subtle but incredibly powerful. They influence how people think, how they act, and ultimately the kind of life they live. Once you understand them, you will begin to see why so many people stay stuck, and more importantly, how you can break free and start designing your life intentionally. Because the moment you recognize what is holding you back is the moment you start taking control. The first thing that holds most people back from taking control of their lives is fear of failure. This fear is incredibly powerful because it doesn't just stop people from acting. It convinces them not to even try. From a young age, many people are taught that failure is something to avoid at all costs. In school, mistakes are punished with low grades. In society, failure is often associated with embarrassment or weakness. As a result, people grow up believing that making mistakes means something is wrong with them. This belief becomes deeply embedded in their identity. But the reality is completely different. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is the path to success. Every successful entrepreneur, athlete, and leader has failed countless times. The difference is that they don't interpret failure as a final result. They see it as feedback. They understand that every mistake teaches something valuable. Instead of avoiding failure, they use it as a tool for growth. Most people never realize this. They wait for the perfect moment to take action. They wait until they feel confident enough, prepared enough, or certain enough that things will work out. But that moment never arrives. Life doesn't reward perfection, it rewards action. The fear of failure creates a dangerous pattern called hesitation. People spend years thinking about what they want to do instead of actually doing it. They plan endlessly, research endlessly, and analyze endlessly. But deep down, the real reason they are not moving forward is fear. Imagine if a child learning to walk stopped after falling the first time. They would never learn to walk. The same principle applies to every area of life. Growth requires falling, adjusting, and trying again. When you stop fearing failure, something powerful happens. You become free to experiment. You become free to learn. And most importantly, you become free to move forward. The truth is that failure is temporary, but regret can last a lifetime. The second force that keeps people from taking control of their lives is the comfort zone. On the surface, the comfort zone feels safe and secure. It's familiar, predictable, and stable. But beneath that sense of safety lies a hidden danger: stagnation. Human beings are naturally wired to seek comfort and avoid discomfort. This instinct helped our ancestors survive dangerous environments. But in modern life, it often works against us. Someone may stay in a job they hate for years, simply because it feels safer than trying something new. Another person may remain in unhealthy relationships because the fear of change feels greater than the pain of staying the same. The comfort zone creates an illusion of security, but in reality, it slowly limits your potential. People who take control of their lives understand a simple but powerful principle. Comfort is the enemy of growth. They intentionally challenge themselves. They take calculated risks, knowing that discomfort is a sign of progress. Think about any major achievement. In life, starting a business, building a career, learning a new skill, transforming your health. They happen when you step beyond it. The moment you begin embracing discomfort instead of avoiding it is the moment your life begins to expand. One of the most powerful forces that holds people back from taking control of their lives is something most of them never even question: their beliefs. Beliefs are the invisible rules we create about what is possible and what is not. They shape the way we see ourselves and the world around us. The problem is that many of these beliefs were formed when we were very young, often based on experiences, criticism, or the opinions of others. A person might grow up hearing phrases like, "You're not good at business," "People like us never become successful," or "Dreams are unrealistic." Over time, these words become internal voices that quietly guide their decisions. They stop trying new things because they already believe they will fail. They avoid opportunities because they assume they are not capable. But beliefs are not facts, they are interpretations. Two people can face the same situation and develop completely different beliefs. One might see a challenge and think, "This is impossible." Another might see the same challenge and think, "This is an opportunity to grow." The difference between these two mindsets determines the direction of their lives. People who take control of their lives learn to question their beliefs. Instead of accepting every thought as truth, they ask powerful questions. Is this belief helping me grow? Where did it come from? Is it really true? When you begin challenging limiting beliefs, something remarkable happens. The walls that once felt permanent start to disappear. Possibilities that once seemed unrealistic suddenly feel achievable. Your life will never rise above the beliefs you hold about yourself. Change the belief, and you begin changing your entire future. Another reason most people never take control of their lives is that they are constantly waiting to feel motivated. They believe motivation comes first and action comes second. But in reality, it works the other way around. Motivation is unreliable. Some days you feel inspired and energetic. Other days you feel tired, distracted, or discouraged. If your progress depends on motivation, you will only move forward occasionally. Successful people understand something different. Discipline creates results, not motivation. Instead of asking themselves whether they feel like doing something, they focus on the commitment they have made. They take action even when they don't feel inspired. Ironically, once they start taking action, motivation often follows. Think about exercise as an example. Many people wait until they feel motivated to work out. But those who are consistent simply follow a routine. They show up whether they feel like it or not. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates motivation. Waiting for motivation keeps people stuck in endless preparation. Taking action, even imperfect action, creates progress. The fourth major barrier that prevents people from taking control of their lives is the habit of blaming external circumstances. When things go wrong, it is easy to point fingers at the economy, society, family background, or other people. Blame may provide temporary comfort, but it also removes personal power. When you blame something outside yourself, you also give that thing control over your future. If your situation is someone else's fault, then you must wait for them to change before your life can improve. People who take control of their lives adopt a completely different mindset: radical responsibility. This does not mean they blame themselves for everything that happens. Life is unpredictable, and many circumstances are outside our control. But they focus on one thing that is always within their power: their response. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "What can I do about it?" This shift may seem small, but it is incredibly powerful. Responsibility transforms you from a victim of circumstances into the creator of your life. The moment you stop blaming and start taking responsibility is the moment you begin taking control. Another invisible force that keeps people stuck is the fear of what others might think. Many people have dreams they never pursue simply because they worry about criticism, rejection, or embarrassment. This fear is deeply rooted in human psychology. Throughout history, survival depended on belonging to a group. Being rejected by the tribe could mean danger. As a result, the human brain naturally seeks approval and avoids actions that might lead to social rejection. In modern life, however, this instinct can limit growth. People avoid starting businesses because others might say it's unrealistic. They avoid expressing their ideas because someone might disagree. They avoid changing their lives because they fear being judged. But the truth is simple. No matter what you do, someone will always have an opinion. If you allow other people's opinions to control your decisions, you will never truly live your own life. People who achieve extraordinary things are not immune to criticism. They simply decide that their vision is more important than other people's approval. When you stop living for approval and start living for purpose, you reclaim control over your life. Breaking free from these patterns begins with awareness. Most people remain trapped because they never stop to examine the forces shaping their decisions. Once you become aware of fear, limiting beliefs, comfort zones, blame, and the need for approval, you begin seeing them everywhere. You start noticing how often they influence your choices. Awareness creates a powerful moment of clarity. It allows you to pause and ask yourself a new question. Is this decision moving me toward the life I want, or keeping me stuck in the same patterns? This moment of awareness is the beginning of transformation, because once you see the pattern, you can change it. Taking control of your life does not happen overnight. It happens through small decisions repeated consistently over time. Every day you face choices. Some choices move you toward growth, while others move you toward comfort and familiarity. Choosing growth may feel uncomfortable at first. It may require learning new skills, facing uncertainty, or stepping into unfamiliar environments. But each time you choose growth, you strengthen your confidence. Gradually, the identity you once had begins to shift. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who hesitates, you begin seeing yourself as someone who takes action. Ultimately, the biggest difference between people who remain stuck and those who transform their lives comes down to one powerful moment, a decision. A real decision is not just a wish or a hope. It is a commitment backed by action. When you decide that you will no longer let fear control you, your behavior begins to change. When you decide that your past does not define your future, new possibilities appear. Every major transformation in life begins with a decision to change direction. The truth is that taking control of your life is not about becoming someone else. It is about removing the barriers that have been limiting you all along. Once those barriers disappear, the potential that was always inside you begins to emerge. And the moment you realize that your life is shaped by the decisions you make every day, is the moment you truly begin taking control.